So before I present, I'd like to tell you a story about a person named Jeff. So Jeff worked in a lab that contained the smallpox virus that was locked away in a room, safely tucked away from the rest of the world. Every day, Jeff walked by the room, and he always wondered what was in the room. So one day, curiosity got the better of Jeff, and he went in the room. Little did he know, he was then infected with smallpox virus, and as he walked out of the room, the smallpox virus went along with him. My name is Ryan, and today I will be presenting to you about the disease smallpox. Today we'll be talking about an introduction, history of smallpox, transmission of smallpox, causes and risk factors of smallpox, symptoms of smallpox, diagnosis of smallpox, types of smallpox, the phases of attack, treatment of smallpox, an experiment related to smallpox, and my conclusion. What is smallpox? Smallpox is a highly contagious disease that is sometimes fatal. It is caused by the virus variola. There is no cure, but treatments do exist, and survivors of the disease are left severely scarred or sometimes even blinded. History. Smallpox most likely originated from the Neolithic age. This is because before the Neolithic age, the human population was very sparse. Pharaoh Ramses V, who died in 1157 BC, was believed to have died from smallpox. This is because his mummy, which was found in an ancient pyramid, had scars that resembled those caused by smallpox. Smallpox was prevalent in the Old World, but in 1519, it crossed the Atlantic Ocean to infect the New World for thousands of years. It caused outbreaks and epidemics all over the world. In 1798, Edward Jenner developed a vaccine for smallpox. In 1966, the World Health Assembly, led by Donald Henderson, started an eradication program to rid the world of smallpox. In 1980, they succeeded. Transmission. There are 3 ways of transmission. Smallpox is transmitted horizontally, which means person to person. The first way is by direct face-to-face contact. The virus is found in the mouth, so touching another person's mouth through kissing or any type of touching will give you the smallpox virus. Contact with infected fluids will also give you the virus. It can also be spread through the air, through sneezing or coughing. Smallpox cannot be transmitted by animals. Smallpox is common in laundry rooms, where customers and workers spread the virus through vectors such as clothing. Causes and risk factors. Smallpox is, as I said before, caused by the virus variola. Smallpox only infects humans and has very little risk factors, which include working in a lab that contains smallpox, like our poor friend Jeff, and exposure to smallpox when used as a biological weapon. Symptoms. Symptoms of smallpox only occur after 7 to 17 days of contracting the disease. This is because the 17 to 17 days is the incubation time when the person isn't contagious and won't show any symptoms. Symptoms do include high fever, usually in the hundreds, headaches, body aches, rashes, pustules, and scabs. Rashes and pustules are the major distinguishing factors of smallpox. Diagnosis. There are 2 ways to diagnose smallpox. The first way is a physical exam, where the doctor tests to see if you have the symptoms of smallpox. The second way is when a doctor takes a tissue sample from one of your rashes and he sends it to a lab for testing. If you turn out positive, then he will send you to a quarantine. Types of smallpox. There are 2 forms of smallpox, variola major and variola minor. Variola major has 4 types. Ordinary, which accounts for 90% of all smallpox cases. Modified, which occurs in previously vaccinated people. Flat and hemorrhagic, which are very rare but also very fatal. Variola minor is much less common than variola major and much less severe, with a death rate of only less than 1%. Phases of attack. Smallpox attacks in 6 stages. The first stage is the incubation stage. The person will not show any symptoms, and it lasts 7 to 17 days. In the prodrome phase, the first symptoms start showing, which include fevers, headaches, and body aches. In the prodrome phase, the person will feel very exhausted and won't be able to carry on daily activities. In the rash stage, rashes start forming in the mouth. These pop open to release the virus all over the mouth, and this is the stage where the person is most contagious. These rashes spread to the body within 24 hours and develop into bumps that fill with a thick, opaque liquid. In the pulsillary stage, these bumps develop into pulsils, which are hard, which feel like hard round balls inside the bumps. In the scab stage, the pulsils develop into scabs, which are crusts that form over the pulsils. In the last stage, the scabs fall off, but the person is contagious until the last scab falls off. The scars are left in place of the scabs, so people are severely disfigured after being infected with smallpox. Treatment. There is no cure for smallpox, but there is a way to prevent it. It was developed by Edward Jenner, and it was derived from the vaccinia virus, which is otherwise known as cowpox. Edward Jenner noticed that milkmaids who worked near cows developed the cowpox virus, but were immune to the smallpox virus. So he developed a vaccine using that. Today, the government has enough vaccine to treat a smallpox outbreak. Experiment. In 1839, Mr. Seeley conducted an experiment about the smallpox virus. The purpose was to inoculate the smallpox virus. The hypothesis was that the subject will be immune to smallpox. First, he made several injections to the patient using cowpox virus. The patient then went through the stages of cowpox. After a few months, he injected the same patient again with cowpox virus, but this time including smallpox virus. The results show that this patient did not contract smallpox and only had cowpox. This was because no two diseases that are really alike cannot infect the same person. This experiment was similar to Edward Jenner's experiment. In conclusion, smallpox is a highly contagious disease that is sometimes fatal. There is no cure, only a treatment. It leaves survivors severely disfigured and sometimes blinded. It is now eradicated thanks to the World Health Organization. To continue the story about Jeff, as he walked out of the room, his coworker saw him walking out of the smallpox room, and he was immediately sent to a quarantine. Luckily, he was quarantined before he could spread the disease, but unfortunately, Jeff died. But fortunately for you guys, you do not have the smallpox disease today. Thank you. These are my citations. Any questions?
Jasmine. Questions?
Mongoose.
You said that your experiment showed that if it was a virus similar to smallpox, like cowpox infects persons, then they're immune to cowpox. Would that be the same with chickenpox?
I don't know that. I'd have to conduct further research to answer your question. Chris?
Your presentation talked about this thing called pustules.
Pustles.
Pustules.
Mm-hmm.
They're like little brown thingies in your face.
No, they feel like brown things in your face.
Like, where do you get those things?
You develop them from the rashes.
And like, what part of your body?
All over your body.
Jasmine.